Hi guys, you may have seen this video doing the rounds. If you haven't, you'll be both shocked and annoyed. So a man and a woman were stopped on their way to a food bank by a reporter who had no doubt interviewed the public about which party they will likely support in the general election. The two individuals who were on their way to a frigging food bank told the journalist that they backed the Conservative Party and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Why? Well, have a listen for yourself.
Lee and Pippa, who both have ill health, say they struggle to get by. They stopped to talk with me on their way to the food bank.
That's where we're going now.
Because of the cost of living, it's gone through the roof.
You still think the Conservatives should sort of get back in?
They've helped us more than anybody.
Yes, they have. They stood by us.
With what they've got to play with, which isn't a lot, they've juggled it where it's tried to help the poorer rather than the
I agree with
richer.
that. He came out in his suit, soaking wet, God bless him, roll on. He's been there through COVID, he's been there through everything for us, and I'd be so gutted, honestly. I just want Conservative.
Red.
Oh my goodness. Deep breaths, okay. Is it possible that Rishi Sunak was in town and gave these people 50 quid and said, go down to that journalist at the end of the street and say really positive things about me and my party? It's possible, or maybe it's not. I don't know. But no, so from the beginning, it mentioned that they have both ill health. Now, it's possible that they have ill health because they haven't been able to access a GP in time or they're stuck on a waiting list. Whose fault is that? They've been struggling with the cost of living crisis on their way to a food bank, going to a food bank. Once again, I remember reading a story about how some people said, well, at least the Tories have increased the number of food banks in the area as a positive thing. When the Labour Party were in power under Gordon Brown before he was no longer Prime Minister, there were about a dozen food banks, maybe something like 40. Now there are thousands of food banks. There are more food banks than McDonald's restaurants. Food banks are not a good thing. Food banks are a sign of failure of government. They also said that the Tories have helped them more than anyone else. The Tories have been in power for 14 years. You're talking about going to the food bank. You're talking about a cost of living crisis, and you're saying the Tories have done more to help you. The Conservative Party have voted consistently against lifting people out of poverty, against increasing benefits in line with inflation. How is that helping people? Consistently, every Conservative has voted against these measures. My goodness. The guy there also said that the Tories have don't have a lot to play with, so they don't have a lot of money. Well, they had a lot of money to transfer to the richest in society during the pandemic, over £700 billion. How many PPE contracts were won, and how much money has been spent on that? And where is this money now? Dido Harding, £37 billion. Has any of that been clawed back? They also said that the Tories have been trying to help the poorest and not the richest. Okay, but as I said before, they've voted against measures to lift people out of poverty, to increase people's benefits in line with costs and in line with prices, inflation. While at the same time, they've been cutting taxes for the richest. They've been talking recently about getting rid of inheritance tax. And of course, very few people pay inheritance tax. Who pays it? The richest in society. She also said, God bless Rishi Sunak in his wetsuit. Okay. Rishi Sunak there's nothing to be proud of there. There's nothing to be admired. He went out there because he wants to convince his party that he's serious about pulling the lever. There were rumors that the Conservative Party would actually remove him, and it seems he went out there and said, to hell with you guys, I'm going out there, I'm going to deliver a speech. It's raining, it doesn't matter, I'm going to deliver this speech, and we're going to have our general election, so you're not going to remove me. Then he or she, I don't remember which of them, said that he's been there through the pandemic for all of us. No, he's been there for himself. Rishi Sunak became an MP to enrich himself and his family. He became Prime Minister to enrich himself and his family. And recently, we heard the news that over the last year, he has increased his wealth by over £120 million. How are you benefiting from that? Look, I don't know if these people get their information from Facebook or the Daily Express or the Daily Mail or what, but unfortunately, they're being convinced by a political party that doesn't give a crap about them that they're the party that they need to support. And if the Conservatives do hold on to power, well, they'll be back at the food bank the day after. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.